now, you've had 40% year-over-year growth. Is that right?
We did, yeah. Yes, grown fast and furious for several years. No one agency can do it all these days unless you're going to carry a lot of overhead. You know, you've got automation, you've got all kinds of tech stack options, you've got AI and all these things. And they need someone that they trust to walk them through it and help them with the plan. But the autonomy, the accountability, you know, giving people the freedom, but still the support that they need has been huge. And I think that, you know, those companies that will adapt faster, those will be the ones that win.
Our guest this week is Rebecca Dutcher, president and founder of RED66 Marketing, which is so named because of Rebecca's red hair, and 66 was her jersey number when she was the first girl to play football at 8 years old. We're going to hear that story. I'm just telling you right now. She launched RED66 Marketing in 2016, and it has grown to a team of 17, including search engine marketing, strategy, content, design, and web development. A self-proclaimed marketing nerd, guilty, she has nearly 20 years of experience in marketing, mostly on the agency side, working with various clients and industries, primarily in the B2B space. She always enjoys talking about ways business challenges can be met and overcome with marketing. Amen to that. And even using marketing content to shorten sales cycles. Amen again to that. Sorry, I'm putting my own editorial on. She is involved in local organizations as a 3.5-time president for the American Marketing Association West Michigan chapter. She's on the steering committee for Davenport University's marketing department, and most recently completed 7 years as a board member for GROW, G-R-O-W, an entrepreneurial organization primarily for women, which is based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She also recently received the 2021 Distinguished Alumni Award from Davenport University, Donald W. Main School of Business. When not working, you can find her at a kickboxing class, spending time with her family and filling up on industry thought leader blogs, books, and podcasts. And finally, Rebecca is married to Steve, great name, and is mom to Brett and dog mom to Lena and Goose. Rebecca, welcome to SEO on Air.
Thank you. Quite an introduction.
I'm telling you, I think that might be all the time we have. Okay, I'm a football fan. Okay, we got to talk about this. I love getting backstories. Walk us through how this all came about. You're the first girl to play football at only 8 years old. What happened?
Yes. Well, it was the local, Pee Wee football league. I have a brother that's a year younger than me. He was playing football and I was doing cheerleading and did not like that at all. He fell off the swing set. He may have been pushed, but he broke his arm, so he couldn't practice or play football. So I asked my parents if I could wear his gear and practice with the team, and they let me. So then I started wearing football pants to cheerleading practice because they were at the same park. And that whole year, we kind of petitioned the league to let girls play. They'd never let girls play. This was back in the early 80s. So it took a year with a lot of coaches and parents fighting, but I finally got to play. So yeah, that was the first girl in that league to play football. That's
a great story. And something tells me you've kept up that spirit, if you will, into your professional life.
Yes, slightly competitive. And yeah, definitely. Just watch me do it anyway. Kind of attitude.
Yeah, tell me no and get out of my way.
Right.
So I want to start with your agency. I know it's been around since 2016, but you mentioned to me off the air that I think it's 3 years in a row now. You've had 40% year-over-year growth. Is that right?
We did, yeah. Yes, grown fast and furious for several years.
Yeah, that for any company, let alone an agency, is really remarkable. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say you've learned a lot. You had to scale quickly,
yes.
But it's kind of the good problem, right? It probably put a spotlight on things that you maybe were not aware of in terms of culture and then your network and your partners. Talk a little bit about that, the challenges, the good problems, however you want to phrase them, that came with such an incredible growth of 40% year over year.
Sure. Yeah, as you can imagine, it was fast and furious. And for quite a bit, we threw people at our problems that are at our growth, right? Poor me having to manage growth and how fast we were growing. But yeah, we added a lot of people. I've learned a lot about hiring and getting a little more patient in making the right hire and the right fit for the team. We've continued to build our culture, but now that we've settled into a good cadence with a lot of our retainer clients, we've learned the need to look at our processes and tools before we prepare for any, for next level growth. Yeah, a lot of mishires, lots of learning to stay in our lane a little bit too and do what we're best at, not saying, yeah, we can do that.
So I'm giving you the floor. You're talking to an agency owner that's maybe going through their first year of growth, right? What advice would you give them? Things to look for, things to not take for granted, et cetera.
I would say, looking at no one agency can do it all these days unless you're going to carry a lot of overhead. Building a really strong network and specialty partners, even through freelancers, subcontractors, and other specialists. Luckily, I've had a good network to lean on. And when I first started, it was me and a subcontractor. And it was all just kind of people I knew that were 1099. So as I would keep them busy and have enough to warrant a full-time position, that's when we would grow instead of, adding the person and then trying to feed that growth. So good strategic partnerships. Of course, I do like to say, yeah, sure, we can do that. We can do that. And then we figure it out along the way. But there's a few things recently where I said, we probably could do that, but that's not in the best interest of my team, right? There would be a lot of learning. We wouldn't be as efficient. And then it would take capacity away from another client that was a really good fit. So learning to say no earlier probably would have saved a little bit of pain and staying in our lane.
That's a great
And then having good people to refer to is also great.
That's a really great lesson. I think so many have a hard time saying no. And they look for a number of reasons. One, they don't want to turn down business. And two, they look at it as a weakness. And it's not. It's not.
And that's still hard for me. Yeah. It's hard to say no. It's hard to say, I really wish I could help you. And I think we could, but it's really not a good fit for what that business might need at the time or the team that I have capacity for.
So communication is very near and dear to my heart, and it cannot be overstated. And I don't think you can over communicate really anything. And when you get right to the heart of it, these are relationships that you have with your customers, and no different than any other relationship, right? The hallmark, of course, to me is open communication. Talk about, and you and I both know that you can, the word assume, there's a reason that I won't say what it means, but everybody knows what that means. You cannot assume the client knows everything that you know. And I mean, you meaning the agency. Talk about why it's so important for agencies to really not communicate, but over communicate.
Sure. Well, if you're working with a business owner, C-suite, right, as your client, they have a million other things going on, and marketing is just a tiny portion of it. My business coach tells me that, people need to hear something at least 7 times before they actually retain it. I think it's more like 70 times. But when you're face to face with a client just once a month, maybe for monthly check-ins, you might go through a report and you talk about things, but they don't resonate. So making sure to over communicate. Here's what we're doing, right? Here's why we're doing it. We talked about this, meeting notes. I press hard on my team to send a recap. Here's the things we talked about. Here's how it changes what we're doing. Every month we're sending reports on here's what we did. Here's the analytics, and here's how this influences how we're going forward. Not that they need to understand everything that's being done, but because they are comfortable, and that establishes that level of trust and communication and accountability between you and the client.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that drives me crazy, and I've done, different stints at different agencies in my career, is the agencies, and I know this term is going to resonate with you, where their people are what I call order takers. And it's all, inbound. They're, whatever the client tells me, if I don't hear from the client, I assume everything's okay. I just take their orders and fill it. You strike me, definitely. It's why you're successful. It's both ways. It's inbound and outbound.
It is. I mean, some clients, they have things that need to be done, right? Jobs that they need posted or, other random things, or they'll say, hey, I need this sales leave behind. But we pushed our team and made it so that we do actually a project brief for any little design piece. It can be small, but what's the point of this? How is it going to be used? And that way the client signs off on it. But if we've had them where they've come at us to do some random, a random email, or they want to just blast an email to their entire list and about one certain topic or service that's not a fit for everyone. and we say, well, we need to take time. We need to segment your list, or, doing a flyer is not the best use of your time or budget. What if we did something like this? And it's understanding the why and what they're trying to accomplish. Sometimes we do make a bigger deal out of things and can turn it into multi touch points for them, so they actually have better results and better response. It's funny you say a lot of doers and order takers. I talk about, we need doers and thinkers. Mm-hmm. And we've continued to add even more thinkers and strategists to our team because, clients don't know, and they're doing so many things, and marketing changes so fast, especially in the online space. You've got automation, you've got all kinds of tech stack options, you got AI and all these things. And they need someone that they trust to walk them through it and help them with the plan. But then we meet monthly and quarterly, right, to review what's happening and changing in their space so we can adapt for them.
Yeah. And the best agencies or anybody in any service industry, the clients are going to be so appreciative, which I know of, when they get asked the questions that they're not even thinking of yet. Mm-hmm. That's the best time that I've ever had when I've been on the client side. It's like, I can't possibly keep up with everything. So I need you to prompt me and ask me questions and poke and probe. I'm going to be really appreciative.
Mm-hmm. And, we spend a lot of time learning more about marketing, right? I listen to a lot of podcasts. I go to a lot of industry events, books, and I read blogs all the time. My team can attest, and probably my son, I read this recently, or I just read this, and how it can inform even where we're looking to go in the next 6 to 12 months. But one thing, just because they are a client, they don't know all the things that we do and all the things we do for other clients and how we can adapt that for them. We used to do just a quarterly email, update to our clients. We weren't real aggressive in marketing for ourselves because we didn't need to. And customer loyalty is job one for our team, but we're actually increasing our communications, with monthly emails to clients just to educate them on what's going on and why we're doing things, right? GA4 changes, data changes, Google algorithm changes, why we're adjusting content strategies to more pillar pages and content so that we can reinforce all the things that we'll talk about with them in our meetings.
Yeah, because like you just said a few seconds ago, you read a lot, but you can't read everything. No one can.
Right.
So culture, another big word. Another real important word. As you've grown very rapidly, quite certain that was a big top of mind topic, amongst your leadership in terms of hiring and really getting in, having the right culture in place. How do you do that? Or what was your kind of forethought, and what advice would you give to other agency owners as you're growing when it comes to hiring and culture?
Sure. It was just before COVID, actually. Remember that? Early 2020. And I was at a women's conference and saw an EOS implementer speak. Mm-hmm. And it's, I'd been around for about 4 years. It was me, one employee, and a couple subcontractors at that time. And I just felt like something was missing. Like there's something more. Where are we going? What's happening here? Because a lot of clients moved with me that I had before. So some of those are still with me today. But I'm like, again, where am I going? And sitting down with her, there's the business model canvas, there's EOS tools and all these things, but figuring out who we want to be, like what's important to us and who we want to work with so that aligns. But really, we all like to be around people that we know, like, and trust. So I like people who are they're a little competitive, right? They are accountable. They are resourceful and figure things out. But one of our core things that we talk about all the time is we are pleasantly persistent. So we're pleasantly persistent with our clients because half our job is following up on things, quite frankly. And I joke about that with everyone that we talk to and we interview, because the follow-up, the communication, if you're a good people person and marketing and what people know today is going to be different from what they need to know 6 months from now, give or take. But it's really finding people that you want to be around with that will support you, no matter what. And like I said, we had a few that weren't a great fit, but when we do that evaluation, do they get it, right? Mm. Do they wake up and want to do marketing? Do they get it? Do they want it? And do they have the capacity to learn? So, they don't want to just sit in the same seat and do things. They want to learn more things. They want to kind of hone their craft. And I've had, a few people who started as interns a few years ago that really gravitated toward paid ads. So he invested a lot of time in learning, certifications, paid trainings, and developed that whole part of our business, which is great. Mm-hmm. And then I have others who gravitate towards the SEO side, another towards website. But I'm not going to grow if the business won't grow if they don't grow.
Correct.
So we create those opportunities and accountabilities to let them grow and stretch their wings and try new things. In the EOS world, you talk about rocks. Every quarter we have an annual goal, but every quarter people have one big thing that will help move either the agency or themselves forward. And so, some are doing leadership training this quarter. Some are doing other certifications. We are piloting 3 different AI tools from SEO, from design, into analytics. So giving people the freedom to explore and try those tools has been instrumental to letting them kind of find their own career growth, but they also stay, which is great.
That's a big, and I'll say it for you, big kudos to you and your leadership team for providing that platform, because that's huge.
Well, thank you. I joke because I try to be a good boss. I don't like boss, but because I worked for a lot of bad ones over the years. As independent as I am, I probably was not the best employee, right? Hindsight. I was very independent, kind of wanted to do it my way. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot of things from a lot of different leaders and business types along the way. But the autonomy, the accountability, giving people the freedom, but still the support that they need has been huge. We have people that we're here in West Michigan. My web team lives in Colorado. They are from here, but they lived the van life for a few years, still working for us, and they settled in Colorado. We have one who travels a couple months out of the year. He's headed to Hawaii, Australia this fall. He was in Lisbon in the spring. So all those things, they have the freedom because they do their work, but they're living their lives too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey, sorry for the interruption. We're going to get back to our show in one quick second, but stay with me. If you're in the need for anything SEO and or link building related, you need to do yourself one quick favor. You need to go to the website that's on the screen right now, stanventures.com. Go there, tell them Steve-O sent you. The rest will take care of itself. Trust me. You can thank me later. Okay, you mentioned SEO, and that's what our show is about. So in preparation for this, I looked at current trends for SEO. Mm-hmm. And I flagged 3, but we can talk about more. But there's 3 I really want to pick your brain on, if that's okay. Sure. The first one is the Google search generative experience, which is a mouthful, or SGE. And that's Google's AI, powered search experience. If you're not familiar with it, it's a shift towards a more interactive, user-friendly search experience. How is the agency using it or for their clients or what are you hearing from clients when it comes to this?
Well, I don't hear a lot from clients. Clients care about leads, right? Mm. And that SGE, with the AI and the answers there, we've seen changes in traffic patterns, right? There's a lot more of those 0-click searches. People will get the answers that they need and then they never really click through or learn more unless we kind of get them down that path. Mm-hmm. It's a game changer, and it's makes us pay attention to the people also ask, right? And teeing up that content and some of those questions and answers that are more to build trust from the searcher, not so much for the search engines.
Yeah. And by the way, you I don't know if you looked at my notes, but 0-click searches was the second trend, which we'll get to. Thanks for teeing that up.
Sure.
But let me take a step back even more holistically, just AI in general, right? Which, I have my own podcast called the CMO Whisperer podcast, and I interview CMOs and other leaders, biggest brands in the world. And I very early in the conversation get around to what I call the elephant in the room, which is AI, which is in everybody's room. Mm-hmm. The elephant will manifest differently, but everybody's thinking, talking, breathing AI right now, right? And rightly so. From your perspective, you mentioned your clients aren't really talking about SGE, understandably, but are they asking you and your staff just about AI in general for advice? And what should we do? Where should we go? What's been the AI water cooler conversation?
For us, a lot of AI is around content, right? Around content creation and blog articles and relevance. When, I think back to 6 months to a year ago when ChatGPT and things were really making headlines, we had a few nitpicky clients that would ask, did AI write this? So we've adopted some no words, right, that are cannot be included in client copy. But it's all in how you use it. It can make us more efficient. It's not new information. Everybody knows that. But a lot of it is in the prompts, which is why, one of our year-end goals is to have fully adopted some AI tools for efficiency. That's why we have several team members, and AI is in a lot of things, right? It's in Google Ads. Now you've got the Performance Max. You've got all these suggestions. Shoot, even Grammarly, right? Yep. As you're writing an email, all these other suggestions and where they come from. We use it to create content a little faster because we're creating more content, but then we can focus on the creativity and the so what for outlining things. And we're testing, analyzing data with it. So it's testing it and how can it make you more efficient and effective, struggling with headlines for emails that are unique, right? Mm-hmm. Little things like that where you struggle and it's like, it can save you a lot of time and get you something a little better or to spur that better idea. My creative director is not in love with any AI design yet. She's done some fun tests where there's extra fingers or weird hand holding things that's been spit out. So sometimes it's fun just to look at that. It's a game changer for sure. It can lead to a lot of different rabbit trails as people will continue to investigate and try new things. That's why our goal this quarter is to pilot and test 3 different tools in 3 different areas of our business. We're changing even our SEO plugin, moving to one that offers more automation so that we can go in and edit and fine tune instead of create everything from scratch.
Look, I look at AI and anybody, because people ask me all the time, what do you think? It's a tool. Mm-hmm. If you look at it that way, and it's one tool in your larger toolbox. When I say that, it kind of, I don't know, I'm going to say puts people at ease, but it kind of allays maybe some fears that AI is taking over everything. You won't even need a toolbox. I'm like, no, it's not what this is about. It's a tool and you use it with other tools.
And you need people that know how to use the tools. Exactly. And they're comfortable with the tools.
Exactly. That's it, right? That's a great addition to how I phrase it. Is just it's a tool, and you need people to know how to use that tool, just like you need people any other tool.
Sure.
Right.
Well, there's that. I don't know, that story, meme, whatever that floats around Facebook every now and then about, the homeowner DIY that wants to build a deck, or he's going to have a deck builder do it, right? Mm-hmm. So the deck builder was more expensive. Hired a carpenter, and the homeowner's like, well, why are you so expensive? I can buy the lumber and I can buy the tools and I can do this. And, the craftsman's like, well, I've been doing this for years. It'll be a lot more efficient and you don't have time to do it. Right. Mm-hmm. You'll have less, I'll make less waste, wrong cuts won't happen, that kind of thing. And it'll be built to last. So people can do a lot of things themselves. We just don't have the time, the resources, or the knowledge to do it all ourselves.
Exactly. Okay, you mentioned zero-click searches. For those not familiar, it basically means when you do a search and the results come up, we all probably seen it. Maybe some of us have never heard it called that before, but you really don't need to click on anything because the results are already there, right? And it's really interesting on multiple levels, right? As a user, it's great, but from an SEO perspective, I could see people kind of freaking out, going, "Wait a minute, why am I even bothering with keywords if people are not going to click on anything in the first place?" So talk about, are you hearing anything, or what are anybody's concerns when it comes to zero-click searches? Because it's growing. The last stat I saw was 6% of mobile and 25% of desktop. They leave the SERP without clicking on anything, organic or paid.
Yeah, I saw another article this morning that had numbers even a little higher than that lately. Yeah, because people, why do they search for something? They either they need to solve a problem. They need to answer a question, right? And they can get those answers right there. I think, a lot of our clients are B2B. So it's really being that topical authority. So an example, we have an LED lighting manufacturer that we work with. So a lot of our content isn't necessarily around being an LED lighting manufacturer or a supplier because they're commodity, right? Yep. They sell to contractors, builders, and architects. So really, we're building content resources around, even the IES design files for lighting patterns, to talk about smart technology, to talk about, fixtures with a flip of a switch that are integrated with Bluetooth and apps and things like that. So one light can have many applications. Same for, we have uniform rental companies, but it's speaking to the pain points and answering those questions that hopefully they'll find that so you can be the topic authority.
Yep.
But SEO also can't be your only line in the water.
One last trend that I wanted to bring up to you, and I've heard it described this way. It presents a major opportunities for many marketers, and it's video SEO. Mm-hmm. And I saw these stats, which are mind blowing. The number of digital video viewers worldwide this year, over 3.5 billion. 90% of users want to see more videos from brands, and 91% of businesses used video as an online marketing tool in 2024. I'm a big fan of video. Been a long time big fan of video, but video SEO, how does that work? Or in terms of, is it keywords? Is it no different than other traditional SEO? And are you, I would imagine based on those numbers, you're a fan as well of video SEO.
I am a fan. And, video SEO, most people think about YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. And you can have your title and your description and even links in your video descriptions. And those should be optimized. But SEO, you still want to talk to that target audience. Again, not just for search, but understanding the keywords and things like that are important. But all those how-tos, right? All those popular blogs that we used to, how do I do this? Now there's videos that show you how. And car repair, right? That's something that comes to mind very quickly, that people can figure out little things to do it themselves. Or even, I used it the other day to, how do I find the templates in Asana? Because I got stuck just digging, and I was like, I'll just Google it, right? And so there's a quick little video.
Yeah.
And it's important to understand, again, part of your content strategy. Video, people watch video. Search engines don't watch video. That's why they need the descriptions and the meta. Any videos we embed from YouTube, we always make sure there's written words there, like a transcription, so that it will connect those dots. But video is huge. It's because, even in social, right? Doing fun reels and videos, people are more engaged. People are making money on ads just for being entertainers.
Yep.
TikTok has a lot of influencers. I have a son that's nearly 20, and he's buying things off TikTok now.
Yeah.
So it's opened up. People are very visual.
Yep.
So you've got to be good at video. My team's making me record video starting next week because I've put it off as long as I possibly could.
Wait a minute. There's an operative word you use, making me.
They're holding me accountable.
Okay.
If they waited for me to do it myself, it probably wouldn't happen. But we know it needs to with all of our team.
It does. Is that a question of you don't want to be on camera kind of thing? Like something? Yeah, camera shot. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
And I'm not as comfortable editing it, but again, those on my team who are making the reels and they're doing their own stories, and they're a little younger, a little more nimble, a little more comfortable with that stuff than I am, and that's great. And someone wanted to own that, so I'm like, yes, I will do that.
Yeah.
Let's do it together. So even animations, things that you can show a process and a proven process, we've used that for a lot of our clients. Again, they're B2B, but connecting those dots and telling a story quickly, that's what video is for.
So B2B, I'm glad you brought that up. The stigma, is that the word? Has always been, well, we're not B2C, so we don't need to be as personal or things of that nature, right? And that would, to me, would always include, whenever I worked with a B2B customer, video, thinking, well, what do we need video for? Do you get that sense? Or has there been a sea change? Are your clients, are they less, more, same when it comes to using video in their marketing?
A lot of the companies we work with, they're comfortable with it. Their mind is right. It needs to be a long, drawn out corporate video, minutes long, 3 to 5. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that. It can be shorter. It doesn't have to be, tens of thousands of dollars to do a video shoot and things like that anymore, to show processes, to show, fun or entertaining aspects behind the scenes. Because that's the stuff that people gravitate toward to and engage with, because they feel like they're being informed but entertained instead of sold. And nobody likes to get sold, right? And in B2B, we talk so much about buyer personas and your ideal client profile, and that's still a person or multiple people, right? Multiple people, because you have different influencers and key decision makers. But you're talking to people and you're trying to take away a pain or solve a problem for them too. And that's something that B2B gets a bad rap, but you're still talking to people. Personally, I think B2B marketing is a little easier and cleaner, even though it has a longer sales cycle than B2C, because consumers are so finicky and so vast. And there's so many more channels that you have to be in. And just the intensity, the frequency and things like that for B2C are a lot more intense, in my opinion.
No, I think you're right. This is something I've written about, even going back to my Forbes days, that, I would write stories like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. B2B marketers are still a human being at the other end of that line, and I think we're making progress, and you're much more on the front lines these days than I am when it comes to B2B, but I just get that overriding sense that there's still that reticence, right? No, we got to be more buttoned up or whatever. And like you just said, yes, we'll do video, but we want it to be 5 or 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Well, no one's going to.
No one's going to watch that all.
Exactly. I mean, ADD alone is going to prevent you from watching that video. So
right.
I think at least what I'm hearing is progress has been made when it comes to B2B and making it more human. And that includes using video, but there's still ways to go.
Yeah. And I think that, those companies that will adapt faster, those will be the ones that win. I mean, it's no secret that with that longer sales cycle, and there's other stats out there, right? Most people make their short list of who they're going to buy from, 70% before they even reach out.
Exactly.
To the actual company. So making sure you have good content out there that's informational, so you make that short list. I was at a conference this spring, and I heard someone in the audience talk about, just because we're an independent company, we're still a big company. They are compared to nationals, right? So this is on the uniform side, and they've lost these bigger opportunities because people think they're small, because so many people, they want to market that they're local. Well, local doesn't necessarily mean big, right? That's where you talk about independent. So we answer to our customers, not our shareholders. The so what is we can move faster, right? You can reach someone if there's an issue, and we're a lot more accountable. But also, that's where I talked about video. Show the size of your plant. Show a highlight of your process or an infographic. And then even some of the bigger customers, if you can use their logos to show you have that capacity, that capability. And that's your so what, your differentiator matters. And it's not local versus national, because most people don't really understand the nationals are national anyway, because their trucks are in their neighborhood. Exactly. No, it's a great point. Really good point. Well, listen, I'm looking at the clock and we are coming up against the time. I had a blast. The listeners are going to, and viewers are going to learn so much from you. I can't thank you enough for coming on. Thank you. Like I said, marketing nerd. I could talk about this all day.
Oh, I already know you and I are going to have sidebar conversations for sure, because we're cut from that same cloth. So
awesome. I can't wait.
Well, thank you again. Bye.
My pleasure. Bye.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see an increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.